Chad, how are you?
Dude, brother, congratulations to start with, man.
Hey, thank you. So I knew once I got that first grand champion, I'd become famous, and here I am. I'm on the show. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, I've enjoyed us chat many a times. I appreciate you listening, and once again, I appreciate you and Rob and Chris, just being the great guys you are and extending that welcoming hand for Delaware this weekend. I got a feeling we're gonna have a good time, and I'm packing an extra $500 bail money.
Yeah, you better. It's going to be a great time. Yeah, they're great guys. That's one of the great things about barbecue, man. It's one big family. I mean, I don't know if I appreciate all my buddies heading down to you, but hey, it's all right. You can borrow one of them for the weekend.
Hey, that works, brother.
Hey, just real quick, if I could, I just wanted to do a little shout out to Rob Watson, whose father is in the hospital. And I just want, everybody listening to send some good thoughts his way. Just everything works out well for him.
Man, I did not know that about Rob's father at all, but I will second that motion.
Yeah, I just had to get that out there.
Yeah.
With that being said, man, we're going to have a fantastic weekend.
Dude, we're going to have a fantastic time tonight. I mean, hey, me and you have got about 40 minutes together.
Hey, that sounds good. I hope my phone lasts that long.
Well, dude, it better. It better, or I will gong show the hell out of you out of here, and you won't come back.
Or I'll get another phone. No, we'll be good.
So Tom, obviously your first time on the show, and from listening to the show, you know how we're going to do it, man. We're going to start all the way from the beginning, and then we're going to, move forward to all of it cultivating this weekend with your first GC. What got you started on competition barbecue? What really got your juices flowing?
Well, like most guys that get into it, I've always liked cooking. Be that on the grill or inside. And back in 2005, not too long ago, I got an opportunity to cook with a friend of mine who runs the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. And there's a little event down in Philadelphia. It's getting bigger each year. That Gary Maddox, the ex-Philly. Oh, yeah, he runs this little charity event that's a rib cook-off. Winner gets World Series tickets. And, I got a phone call to come down and cook at this thing. Never cooked any barbecue before and, picked up one of these $30 little Brinkmans, no airflow control, a little piece of craft cooker, but, that's what we used. And about 40 teams with tow behinds and all the great stuff that, I own now. And we came in top 5. So that's how it all really started. I thought, hey, I could do this, man. I'm one of the best cookers in the world.
What were the is it just and you may have said this and I just may have missed it. Is it just ribs? If I remember right, it's not all 4, is it? Or is it all 4?
No, they tried to do KCBS a year before I went down, from what I hear, and it didn't work out well. Okay. So for his charity that he runs, it's really just ribs, chicken, and then anything you want, like an anything but category.
Okay.
So we cooked ribs. Ribs was that was my thing that year. So that's all I concentrated on. And back then they had 3 rounds. You had to get called in the top 20 and then the top 5 and then overall. And we made it into the top 5. And that's what really got the juices flowing. So we started a team in 2006, started into a couple competitions.
Well, you know what I like is I love the fact of those chicken and rib contests. You just kind of pull in that morning, and go get after it, or you can go out there and you can still go out the night before and really get after it. You know what I mean? And not have to worry about that early morning wake up call, because the ones I've cooked have done, like a 2 and 2:30 turn in or a 2 and 3 turn in.
Yeah.
So even in that case, your ribs don't have to be on till 8 o'clock if you're really, really low and slow. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, those single day things. We still do a few of them. There's a few charities. I still do the Gary Maddox actually to this day. We head down and cook for one day outside of the stadium there, down Citizens Bank Park, and it's fantastic, man.
What weekend is that usually? What weekend is that usually?
It is, it's usually the first or second weekend in August. This year it's going to be August 3rd.
August 3rd.
August 3rd is going to be the Gary Maddox cookout outside of, Citizens Bank Park, and, you know, just to jump ahead a little bit, I actually ended up winning this competition in 2010. So got World Series tickets, got to take my dad to a home Phillies game against New York with Gary Maddox and all his friends in a box right down the first baseline. You know, so this event is dear to my heart anyway. So it has become the party of the year for me. I go down there, and as the guys know, you know, probably on the chat here, you know, we get a few kegs going, and we just have a party all day down there.
That is too cool. I mean, that just sounds like something fun to be a part of. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is.
As far as the
so you get to go up against restaurants too, which is great.
Oh, dude.
So are you familiar with Steven Starr?
Yes.
Well, he is a part of this whole charity event. He's a partner with Gary Maddox, so he invites all his restaurants to come out, along with other ones, you know, Famous Dave's, Dave Marks with his guy. They all come out.
Yep.
But most of the Steven Starr restaurants are there. So it's kind of, you get a kick out of seeing them trying to do barbecue with their like fancy dancy kind of sauces and stuff. But that makes it even more fun.
Well, you know the one thing that kills that, and that's like judged, right? I mean, they get some. Is it People's Choice or is it more of a?
It's judged, and what's actually very cool about it, it's usually the alumni weekend. So the judges are most of the ex-Phillies. I mean, Bob Boone was in there, and you know, Christensen, like a lot of the old Phillies were in there tasting the food, which I thought was excellent. So it is it's just everyday people, some reporters, some writers from the papers, and then the Phillies are in there eating the food.
So compared to what we do KCBS-wise, you probably overcook a little bit, I would say.
They're falling off the bone, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're picking them babies up. That bone slides out, man. You're in. You got to do it.
For me, man, that one thing I can't get that all restaurants. You go like see a restaurant at what I call kind of a ribber contest, if you will. Man, they love putting those things on the flat top. And I've just never ate a good rib that came off of a flat top.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't get that. I'm not sure why that all started that way.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, though, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
And it's like, and they're not using turbinado sugar. They're using that cheap ass brown sugar. And
Absolutely.
So when they take and throw that on top of that hot ass flat top, it just tastes like shit. I mean,
you're getting just a burnt, crispy, burnt nothing on top of that.
Absolutely. Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one thought that way when it came to restaurants, competition, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And,
well, I can say that now. You know, probably years ago, I thought they were the best things ever. You know, knowing what real barbecue is now, and looking back, it's funny what you may have thought was good back in the day.
Dude, being a Southern boy, I mean, if I did something wrong now, yeah, you could arrest me and throw me in jail. But the worst thing would be making me go eat 2 meals a day at Sonny's. That would be worse than any jail time. But if you look at it, man, old Sonny's made a ton of money down here selling barbecue. You know, and you know, and God bless him for that. And to me, that's why we've got the show. That's why we've got contests. That's why we got competition teams. Is we're just trying to educate each person at the time about what real good barbecue is, and it's not
absolutely. Hey, seeing somebody's eyes when they taste the rib for the first time, from any competitor, I don't care who it is, all the competitors are putting out some good stuff here.
Absolutely.
And just seeing people think, you know, this is what I've never had anything like this. You know, that's a great feeling. That's
what it's all about, man. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had $1 for every time at a class or at a barbecue or whatever I've had to explain that to a true barbecue consumer that fall off the bone ribs aren't the perfect rib.
That's still hard to talk people into that, man. Not everyone believes that still.
It's only when you hand them one and put it in their face and go, here's what it should be like. And they bite it and they see their teeth marks and it still just falls right out, you know, it still, you know, kind of just releases in their mouth. They're like, okay, got it.
Absolutely.
You know? So, but that's part of the fun of it. So 2005, you cooked the Gary Maddox. You finished in the top 5. So one, you wouldn't have had a good time. Two, you were happy with the results. And that was on the old Brinkman El Cheapo.
Oh, absolutely. And, we talked, and right after that, it was August, so we immediately learned about KCBS and what's going on and events and planned the following year. 2006 was truly the first year I went out and did a KCBS competition, and I went and spent some money. I mean, I showed up at the first one with the foam still in the bottom of my big green egg, First time I fired it up was in Bristol, Pennsylvania at Barbecue on the River. And I had a big green egg and 3 Weber Smoky Mountains, and I was ready to go. That was my actual first competition, KCBS, and I pretty much came in dead last in most categories. I'll tell you, I got an 8th place ribs, very first competition, which made it all worthwhile. But, yeah, a lot to learn, man. You have a lot to learn.
Well, Tom, and I don't want to repeat it if you've heard it before, but I'll even one-up you on our first contest. We cooked backyard division because backyard's really a big deal here down in Florida.
Yeah. We don't even have many of them up here at all.
Oh, we have. If you want to be a backyard contest cook, you can probably cook 8 events within 2 hours of where we live every year.
Wow.
And we did. We went over to Kissimmee, 9 teams in the backyard division, and we finished 7th with no calls. They called top 3 in backyard.
Right.
And to top all that off, got beat by a troop of Boy Scouts.
Man, and you kept moving, man, kept going. That shows something.
And I'll tell you what, we weren't happy with the results, but we had such a damn good party. We were that team that until about probably about the time we took it seriously, which was late 2009, when we say we kind of moved up to the pro ranks, quote unquote. Yeah. We took a keg to every contest, man.
Oh, I see teams still do it.
I mean, dude, we were loud and proud, but at that moment it was kind of like, look, and we had doing that. I mean, we won $1,000 in the backyard. We started being kind of one of the teams to beat in backyard, this and that. But it's kind of like, you know what, man? Yeah, it's fun getting, it's fun maybe having too much to drink on Friday night. But the funnest thing is kicking ass on.
No, it's true, and I'd like to have a good time, and you'll see next weekend when we're competing down there, man. I'm gonna bring some good stuff for us, but I take it seriously now. But I do have a good story for you of what happened, last year at this Green Lane competition. If you want to hear it, maybe some people listening can learn a lesson from it.
Okay.
Well, first of all, the Green Lane, this Green Lane competition up there in Green Lane, Pennsylvania, run by the Green Lane Fire Department, is fantastic. It's one of the best competitions that we do every year. It's the best team-friendly competition that I've been at. These firemen are incredible. Sean Tucker and his group just run a great competition, first of all. So I've been doing it for 5 years. This is the 5th year, and love it. Well, last year they started a People's Choice Rib competition. So Hatfield sponsors it, gives all the teams a bunch of ribs to cook up Friday, 6 o'clock. People start coming around with tickets they buy to try some ribs. Okay. Well, I had this great idea that maybe if I gave a shot of something out to each person that got some ribs, it'll kind of sway them a little bit. They'll have a shot of, Buffalo Trace or Jaeger and have a good time, eat the rib. And I thought I had a really good plan. It went wrong when I did a shot with almost everybody that came up.
Oh.
I ended up sleeping through the bonfire, the whole deal, man. I had luckily I got these great guys, Rob Watson and Chris, who's going to be with you, came over and kind of nudged my foot on my chair around 11:30 at night and said, "Dude, you got to get up and put your meats on." And for me, that's bad. I'm low and slow. My meat should have been on.
Yep.
So, there's one thing to have a good time, but looking back at that, it's pretty much, I just rolled that contest up in the diaper and threw it away, and that's not the way to do it. Well, so this was a redemption year, man. I came into this contest wanting to redeem myself from all the jokes and what I did to myself last year. and have it turn out like this is just incredible.
Absolutely. Chris said, "Don't forget Bill."
Oh my God! Yeah, you know, Bill, our friend Bill from that was out there hanging out for a while. Hollywood and Swine is his team, and he wasn't even competing, but he was helping me out with the People's Choice a little bit. You know, he started my fire for me, which saved me a lot when I got up and stumbled around trying to find the meats to throw on the grill. So big thanks to Bill.
So, and I'll tell you this.
Oh, don't even bring it up. I don't know if you're looking at that chat room thing, but yeah, I left that part out, Rob.
I had a dream I threw up.
All right. You know what? I don't care. I'm on the show. When they woke me up, I did. I had this dream that I puked. I'm like, dude, I'm looking down. I said, thank God I didn't. I stood up. They're like, dude, it's on your back. Now, I have no idea, Chad. It was a Linda Blair event happened because I don't know how it got back there, but they threw me a new shirt and, we moved on.
Oh, that's a good time. That is getting after it right there, Tom Bera.
But yeah, all right. I was leaving that out, but thanks, guys. That's all right.
And I will tell you my kind of rule now is, if there's gonna be on Friday, if there's gonna be any liquor at all, I'll usually do a shot before the cooks meeting. I know some guys like to do that, for good luck or whatever. So I'll do a shot before the cooks meeting. But to me, all day Friday, and you guys laugh at me if you want to, it's Natty Light.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'll make fun of you next week, but there's really nothing wrong with that.
The reason I drink Natural Light is I know I can drink 2 cases of Natural Light on Friday if I wanted to, and still
absolutely, because I'm a beer guy myself. I kind of hang out with a beer most of the time.
It'd still be fully functional at 5 o'clock in the morning when I got to be on Saturday. Now,
that's what you got to do. I mean, I guess one of my problems is one of our sponsors this year is Buffalo Trace Bourbon. That makes it kind of tough to stick to the just beer, but I try.
We're going to talk about that in a second. Because I got that. In all honesty, I want to talk to you about that, not just from it being a really, really good brown water, but from the fact of people that listen to this show, always one of the top 3 things I get asked at contests, because we're fortunate to have a lot of sponsors, is how do you go about doing that? So we're going to hit on that in just a second, Tom.
Absolutely, okay.
But I will tell you, if it's at a KCBS contest after 1:30, or if it's an FBA after 2 o'clock, put the women and children to bed, son. Because, hey, this old boy's ready to go. And,
absolutely, that is awesome.
And we're gonna do some real drinking leading up to awards.
That sounds good to me. And I hope I hear your name called and I pass you as you're coming back and I'm going up. I mean, it's going to be a great day.
Exactly. I think it will be, man. I really think it will be. So getting back a little bit to how this started, you talked about your first contest in 2006. And obviously you got a call, which got you hooked, obviously.
Absolutely.
So you keep going. 2006, how many contests you think you guys cooked?
2006, we only did 4 contests.
4.
And then I was working with, it was just me and a guy that I've worked with that was retired, Jack Rubright, who was a huge part of chipping in with the money and just getting this whole thing started. He was actually my first partner in this whole thing. Well, and we went through 2006 and part of 2007. Yeah, I think he did the whole 2007 with me.
All right, and what are you cooking on at that point?
We have when 2007 started up, we then had 2 Big Green Eggs, the large, and 2 Weber Smoky Mountains, and we had like a Weber 22-inch that we would bring for other stuff, finished chicken off, that kind of thing. But that's what we were toting around, which was, a real pain in the ass, the eggs. I love the eggs, but, they're tough to lug around.
Well, dude, I watched a guy at a contest, and I still cringe over it. I would love to have a Big Green Egg just here at my house, on my deck. And actually, I'm talking to a ceramics company now that I think has a product that's more affordable and probably just as good. But anyway, the ceramic cookers, whether it be a BGE or a Primo or whatever, I watched a guy, and Tom, it broke my damn heart, man. He had an XL egg, and he's rolling this thing down the back of a 12-foot utility trailer.
Oh, no, yeah.
And buddy, I can see it coming. He looks at his buddy looks at him. That thing had a ton of speed behind it, and you know what happened. When it got to that hinge right there at the bottom of the door, boom, and it just shattered.
That's a shame.
And I was just like, man, I don't know what that cost, but that looks like a $1,500 F-up right there.
Absolutely.
And I was like, man, and now I have seen. I mean, there's a group down here that cooks. They call themselves the BGE group. The Big Green Egg group.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when you see them load and unload those eggs, dude, it's like watching a cadet force march. I mean,
absolutely. Well, you know Chris with Dizzy Pig.
Oh yeah.
I'm good friends with Chris. I mean, he shows up by himself sometimes and sets these things up, and he don't look like he's struggling at all. I mean, if you got the technique right, I guess you're all right.
But man, I will tell you what. After I watched one of those things break at a con, I was like, I probably couldn't. I probably couldn't hang with that.
Yeah, I got a little sick of carrying those around after our 2007 season.
Absolutely. So what did you go looking for?
I needed. Well, I got a tow behind because I figured, because my partner Jack he wanted to retire and just not do this anymore, and I had my little cousin helping me at the time. That Jack left, and we couldn't lift these damn things. So I went up and bought. I have a Meadow Creek 120. You're going to be cooking on that 250. I got the smaller version of that.
And I'll tell you what. So real quick, if you know Meadow Creeks, and I've been looking at the 250. Mind you, I'm going into, and this makes me sound really lame from a barbecue point of view. I've never cooked on a WSM.
Oh, is that right?
Which Rob's bringing me one of.
That's still one of my favorite cookers. I still believe that puts out some of the best barbecue. It's controllable. You can put a guru on it if you want. I still think that's a great piece of equipment for barbecue.
Well, I will tell you, Harry Sue kicked mine and about 75 other people's ass on one 18-inch Smoky Mountain last time I was in Las Vegas. So, yeah, they're pretty good cookers.
I believe the only first place rib, and I love my ribs. Got many calls, throughout the years as they went on. But my only first place call in ribs in KCBS is still on my Weber.
Nice. I will tell you before I finish up my statement, Lazy River Barbecue wanted me to tell you hello. He cannot get into the show, but he wanted me to tell you that.
Cool.
So I haven't never cooked on one of those. I've cooked on a bunch of stick burners, but I never cooked on a Meadow Creek. So
do you cook on a Lang?
I've cooked on a Lang, yeah. I got one here at the house. Yeah.
That's pretty much the same thing. I mean, I think the craftsmanship that they do up at Meadow Creek is a little bit better, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Lang, but it's pretty much the same piece of equipment.
Oh, hey, hold on a second, Tom. Ben, are you there? All right, Ben Lang coming in. I got Ben Lang on the line.
Don't do that. Kidding. Hey, there's still a battle going on with those guys, I think.
I know.
But it is the same piece of equipment, so I think you'll be all right.
Now, I could have actually asked Chris this, but I'm going to ask you since you're a Meadow Creek owner. So Chris tells me I got the TS 250 with the chicken cooker.
Yeah.
So what is this chicken cooker?
It's hooked to the front. It's separate from the barrel part of it, the reverse flow. So it's just a flipping grill, kind of grabs the meat in between. You can flip it with the charcoal down below a little bit further. So it's just a big square, cooker.
I'm thinking right before I want to set my sauce, that's where to go.
Oh, you can use that as a grill, high heat, put the fire down bottom. It's a great cooker.
Dude, hey, you know what? I may cook my ribs river style then.
You definitely can.
Dude, maybe just slather some sauce on there and hit them ribs on the way out. What do you think, Tom? Tom's like, I'm cooking against you, so I say awesome. All right, so 2007, you go to the Meadow Creek pool behind.
We did that by the end of the year, but I'll tell you, Our 7th competition overall, KCBS. I'm a little bit fanatical. I keep every score sheet and pictures of every tournament I've ever done. So I know that this contest I just did was the 45th contest I ever did, and I got grand. On my 7th contest, we got reserve grand down in Wildwood, New Jersey, which really sparked us to, especially me, to work really hard to try to get back up to the stage. But it took me a while, obviously, to do it.
So your 7th contest. Well, I'll tell you, you know, and I can appreciate you keeping good records, Tom, but I can tell you I have entered. We've got a SQL database with a little software program that I've got the 62 contests that we've cooked. I've got every appearance, taste, and tenderness score. what region of the country it was from, and the FBA, what judge numbers, you know, the whole 9 yards. So, and I believe it's one of those things, man. If you like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I was in the hotel room last night, I pulled back up when Matt and Joel cooked Delaware a couple of years ago.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
And I said, okay, well, you know, and I looked at, and I also take notes on what's the program. Here's the sauce we used, here's the rubs we used, etc. And I said, well, you know, the appearance they loved, and I can go look at the box picture. You know, the taste, we got a little bit of a hit on. They love the tenderness. So it was like, okay, and so I always commingle my cook notes with the database. And so when I come in, and anybody that's cooked with me in the FBA or anywhere else knows, I always carry the composition book. And I'll be in that composition book all contest long. Here's what time we pulled it, here's what it felt like, here's what it looked like. You know, just jotting little notes. But then when I come home, all that goes into the database.
Oh, you got me beat. I don't do that. Mine's in a binder, sitting on a shelf. So when we're gonna go cook a region or an area or this or that or another contest, you know, go back. I mean, because you know, if I didn't have that, I damn sure couldn't tell you what Matt told me over the phone while I was in Vegas cooking a contest about cooking Middleton. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the right way to do it because this is competition. I mean, I'm one to use the whole sport word. I know a lot of people don't use it, you know, but you got to look at it that way if you want to win.
No, you've got to. I mean, if you go out there and you treat it like a hobby your whole life,
right,
you're going to end up spending a lot of money and not getting to where you can be. Because to me, a hobby is, and to a lot of guys that's in a hobby, to me, a hobby is, you call me on Friday night and go, Chad, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm jack shit. You want to go play 18 down the street? Sure. Let's go. You know what? I own spikes. I own golf clubs. I own a collared shirt. Let's go do it. Who's buying the cakes? Me or you, Tom?
That's right, man.
I mean, to me, that's a hobby. But, you know, for what we do and the amount of money and the amount of effort and the amount of preparation, that's the thing I tell people.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Is, you know, on Wednesday it starts. You're gathering your competition meats. You're gathering your spices. You're getting your trailer, your truck loaded out. I mean, it's just not, you just don't show up on site and click your fingers and all the shit's there.
Oh, I know. I think a lot of people don't understand how much work it is that don't follow the whole barbecue thing. You know, it is a lot of work.
All right, Tom. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. I want to break this weekend down by day, by category. So you get there. When did you get there? Friday morning?
Yeah, I got there early in the morning to set up.
Pretty easy drive, not too far away.
Oh, for me, it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I mean, this is a great one. It's close. You know, if I forget something, I can go home and get it. You know, this is a good competition.
Well, so, to me, you know, when I think it was Chris telling me, or maybe Rob, one of the two, told me that, hey man, this is kind of, you know, one of our backyard contests, and I've always said, and I still say to this day, I want to win Lakeland Pig Festival because it's in our hometown.
Yeah.
But I've always told people our number two is there is probably the best FBA contest in the state happens 10 miles from there in Winter Haven.
Right.
And it has an awesome organizer. It's a great contest. And, man, when we won it this year, it was like, dude, we just won Winter Haven. You know, and because, I mean, Myron comes down and Bubba comes down. I mean, everybody, I mean, this contest has a 3-year wait list.
Oh, that's one of them. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like a New Holland to you guys.
Yeah,
you know
right.
And it's like, holy shit, we just won this thing. And so when, Rob told me, he's like, hey, man, this is kind of backyard deal, so it makes it even sweeter. And that's really one of those things. And, I know I told you congrats, and I know I told you the first one will always be the most special. But, dude, if you go do it again this weekend, bud, it's still going to feel pretty damn good.
Oh, I know it. I'll tell you, because this one, I love the people that are there, too. I mean, these organizers, Sean Tucker from the fire department, they make it all worthwhile. I mean, everybody comes back. I mean, we'll get into this, but it poured to the point where you were ankle deep in mud, and people were still saying what a great contest it was.
All right. So let's get to working on that. So Friday you get there, you get on site. So right now, what do you cook on? You still got the Meadow Creek, obviously?
I got the Meadow Creek. So I showed up early, and all this talking we were doing, and I'm forgetting one of the major parts of my team.
Yeah.
The part that holds me together and keeps me sane. Marie Moody is my partner in this whole barbecue thing for the last pretty much 3 years. And I truly believe, Chad, you have to have the right people with you, and all of a sudden things fall in place. Yeah. And you see your results getting better. You see your concentration getting better. Well, this is a friend of mine that I actually work with in my real job, and lots in common. Hit all the beer fests. Everything. We have everything in common, and we love this cooking thing. So I don't want to forget Marie Moody. But
Marie,
yes,
female.
Oh, absolutely.
So she builds your boxes.
She does the boxes, and she runs the cooker all night. I kind of doze off, as everybody knows. Usually people come around and say, there's Marie working again, Tom's just sleeping, and that's usually what it looks like. And she runs that cooker. I don't use a guru. I fill that thing every 40 minutes, with the way I want it to run. So I'm still hardcore with that. I don't get any real sleep time.
So give up a secret to us guys that don't know the Meadow Creek that much. During the night, so when you say you fill it up, are you going in there with some splits? Or are you going in there just topping it off with some lump or some charcoal?
I'm a charcoal guy, and I use the best charcoal on the market, which is Royal Oak. I hope they heard that. That's my other sponsor, by the way.
Okay.
So I get Royal Oak all year to use. Well, I use Royal Oak as my base, and I use mini splits, just very small pieces of wood, pecan and cherry, to get the smoke flavor in. I believe that it's just a flavoring. I don't even run the wood the whole time. I'm more of a charcoal guy. So I'm shoveling charcoal in and keeping a base of heat in that back firebox every 40 minutes.
Okay.
To run that cooker at about 250.
250. All right. Well,
so I got there Friday. We set up, and I was relaxing. I didn't do any people's choice or anything. I wanted to have a beer, sit down. Marie would show up in the evening around 7, and, that's my Friday, man. I didn't do anything. Most of my meats are prepped. I do all that at home ahead of time, except for pork. I'll trim that there because I don't inject or anything, so I just trim that up on the spot.
So let's talk about the categories a little bit.
Yeah. Chicken.
Yeah.
The last thing that you put on the cooker, the first thing that you turn in. I hate chicken. I hate everything about it. And I'm going to come right out and tell you how I cook it, because I don't even think it's a proper way to cook chicken. I'm a butter bath guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's barbecue chicken. And I don't like it. I cook it. What's that?
When I started cooking there was a while I cooked all 4 categories on pellet cookers.
Yeah.
And I caught a bunch of shit about it, but we made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I told people, I said, guys, it's a contest. I said, and until I go to a contest where they say, you everything's got to be, hand fed, etc., no electronics. I said, look, I'm not here trying to win.
No, absolutely. I'm one of the guys that I like doing it the hard way just because that's me. I'm stubborn.
Right, but I put butter bait. I put butter basting that same way.
Oh man, mine's basted in butter until you can bite through the skin, and I don't get any crispy skin. I dip it in this super heavy glaze that makes it look like a shiny mirror, and I put it in the box.
Yep.
I hate chicken, but I'll tell you, it's been doing well, and that was always one of my worst categories, and it ended up pulling a honorable mention with the 9th place, which was a big part of me, winning this thing. But so chicken is just a basic thing, and I hate doing it.
All right, so thighs, you're cooking thighs?
Oh yeah, I'm cooking thighs.
And
bone in, trimming the knuckles off, making them nice and small.
Yep.
No muffin pans, but make them all uniform, that kind of
small,
thing.
uniform. Are you scraping the skin or
no?
The skin,
I
or
think
are you just cooking it out?
No, I love that skin on there, or the fat on the back of that skin.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we made a change on that, and we've seen our scores change dramatically. We went from filleting the fat off the skin to actually leaving it there and just cooking it out till it's bite through. And I mean Tom, look at me, look at you. I mean, anybody go look at our Facebook pictures. We're not small guys.
No.
I mean, fat is flavor, my friend.
Absolutely, it's beautiful flavor.
Exactly. So.
But it is. That's my scores went up. I used to scrape that skin. I hated it. Ripping the skin, you're like, I couldn't stand it.
Well, all right.
But I got to tell you, those tenderizers with all the little needle punches, the meat tenderizers.
Jacquard.
I do that.
Really?
I tenderize that skin. I'll put some holes in there before I put it back on the chicken.
So you'll take a Jacquard and you'll push it through the top or the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll lay the skin out and I'll hit it with that tenderizer punch just to get those little holes in there. So when that gets tender, it'll kind of break apart. I believe better. It'll be bite through better.
Man, I'll tell you what. I've never thought about that, but you just shagged yourself.
So that's all right.
Awesome.
Go ahead and do it. Everyone listening, go out and try it. I found that you can hear all this stuff, and what it's going to cause people to do is go away from their game plan, and that's better for me.
No, that is I won't try it this weekend, but it's something I'll definitely. Guys, when you hear something like that you go, oh, that makes sense, don't go try it at your next contest.
No. Well, no, go ahead and do it. If you're cooking Middleton, you want to do that.
but no, seriously, and I've always tried to tell people this about the show when they hear something, is go and do it. And on chicken, do it 3 times.
Absolutely. You got to do it more than once to know.
Just say, hey, this is my program. I'm taking what I learned from Tom. I'm going to Jacquard the skin, put it back over like I do. I'm doing my whole program, but I'm going to Jacquard the skin. Oh, yeah. Wow. That and you cook it and you go, oh, wow, that's better. Do it 2 more times.
Absolutely. That's how you know.
And then when you feel comfortable with it, then go out and put it in your game plan. If your chicken's missing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and believe me, mine was. It was either last place or almost last place.
Hey, we were either first or last, Ricky Bobby. First or last. So, all right, so now we're going to go to ribs.
There's my cat. I love ribs. Always was my best category. I always finish high with that. Had a little, slump with them, but I love my ribs.
But let's talk a little bit. Spares or babies?
I use spare ribs.
Spare, obviously cut down in St. Louis?
Yeah, and actually I went to, with this contest, I usually would buy the mediums or the 3.5 and ups.
Yeah.
This contest I went to the smaller ones. I went to the, 3.5 and downs, trimmed them down, and they truly look like baby backs. I mean, these are skinny little racked, short little ribs. So that's what I used this time.
So about $250?
No, yeah. I'll hit it up with rub, pretty much right before I put them on the cooker at 6 in the morning, and I throw them on at $250. Start piling in some hickory, some pecan wood and cherry wood.
Are you a store bought or a commercial rub guy or a make your own rub guy?
To a fault, I am make my own rub guy.
Really?
I don't even have rubs in my house to try or tell you how other people's rubs are. And Chris or Rob will tell you I'm very stubborn with that. I can't get it through my head to use that in a competition and feel good about myself if I win. I want to win and lose with my own recipes.
Tom, you are.
And it's just something that I do. I don't recommend it. I mean, there's rubs out there that are fantastic. Why go through all the work that I do? But that's what I do.
Tom, you are the epitome of the old school barbecue guy.
I must be.
Wait, hey, Wood Pit, you found a very sweet young lady to stoke for you all night. Score. And you make your own rubs.
Yeah. I only use a couple commercial things. One of them is Butcher's, and they don't sponsor me, but I don't mind using their name because I think their injections are great, and I use their.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This show is sponsored by Cosmos Q.
Well, I had theirs too. Cosmos has some good stuff, but I don't use theirs. I use Butcher's.
That's fine. So on your ribs, well, hey, I'll tell you what. You're letting a couple secrets out.
I don't mind. I'll stop myself if there's something I don't want you to know.
No. I will. I'm going to tell you a secret.
Oh, there we go.
We're going to turn in a rib box this weekend. I can tell you right now. Unless something goes bad, we're going to give the judges a choice. Let me put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Now to give them a choice, you're talking baby backs or spares?
And 6 each.
That is, I've seen it done. Good luck.
But hey,
I love the idea. I mean, I think it's great. I've done that with chicken, where you get the little wing sections in there with your thighs, but never did that with ribs.
I'm going to tell you. And hey, if they all want, hey, there's enough in there that if all of them just want St. Louis style, get it.
Now, here's the thing. They can actually take one of each because there's enough in there, and some people will do that, judges, because they're going to taste everything in your box.
And to me, when a judge does that, it's one of those things so let's just say this. Let's just say you're a judge, and you grab both, one of each, because you can. And let's say you bite into that St. Louis, and you go, okay, that's good. It's not great, but it's good. And you haven't wrote down a score yet, right?
Right.
And you grab that baby, and you bite into it, and you go, damn, that's pretty good too. Well, hold on. This guy cooked baby backs and St. Louis that both taste really good. Not great, but good. That's a 9. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got you.
Yeah, so to me, that's my thought process.
Hey, it sounds like a great plan. I can't wait to see how that goes.
Well, man, it sounds like you know something.
I have a different thought on it. If one of them's going to be better than the other, in my opinion, you're going to taste these ribs, right, when they come off the cooker. One of them, to you, is going to be a better rib than the other. If they're not, that's awesome, too, and you got them both perfect. To me, I would put the ones that's better in and leave the other ones out. Why take a chance?
Well, no. I completely agree with you.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what we're doing. We're cooking 3 slabs of St. Louis. We're cooking 3 slabs of baby backs.
Gotcha.
We will cut 2 ribs off of each one of them.
Beautiful.
And if the 2 slabs of baby backs are just, I just want to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
We're going to put 2 rows of baby backs in there, and we're going to go on. But to me, I go into a contest with that being my plan.
Oh, absolutely.
But obviously, how the meat comes off the cooker is totally different.
Yeah, that's when that's when you see what a pitmaster's worth.
Right.
Your plan. You're going to go by your plan and your schedule. When you hit that wall, it's how you climb it, man. It tells you what kind of a cook you really are.
I have tried to tell guys that when people will say, well, I'm thinking about taking this class or this class or this class, I said, I'll tell you what, if somebody offers a contest class, take it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to see, is you're going to see those last minute, And not that anybody gives a class and doesn't give that information up.
Right.
But the fact that, real world is real world. You sit there and go, we cooked 3 of these, we cooked 3 of these. Well, these 3 are overcooked, and where they're going to get hammered, unless it's like Salisbury, Maryland, where there's about to be a 40-mile-an-hour wind that'll seize them up. You're like, no. We're going to turn these 2 racks in and go.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, we're talking about my ribs at this comp. I had 1 rack of ribs that wasn't overcooked out of 6. I got 6 ribs out of 1 rack and put them in the box.
Boom.
And I got 5th place. And the other, as I was going through the racks, the flavor was great, but they're falling off the bone left and right. I mean, I really made that mistake this time, but I put just from 1 rack in, and they were the good ones, and they worked.
Well, I'll tell you what, because we got to cook against each other time. I'm gonna tell you a trick at 1:31 on Saturday over Buffalo Trace that will make that better. I promise.
All right, awesome.
Now, when you pulled that rib off, how much time did you have before you knew it was overcooked?
I overcooked it as it was resting. I put it back into my firebox. I don't use Cambros or anything. I use this firebox on my cooker.
Yeah.
But then as I was doing that, I didn't take into account that I upped my temperature to almost 300 to get my chicken done.
Yeah.
Well, my firebox went a little high, and the foiled ribs that were now rested and ready, no longer cooking, they continued to cook. And it's a mistake, and it's something you got, I knew what I did. You just got to kind of swing with it. Well,
like I said, on Saturday at 1:31, over a triple finger Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. So pork. Are you known as a pork cook up there in the Northeast?
A little bit.
Okay.
I did good last year. I mean, last year I was getting first places left and right in that damn thing. Second in the Mid-Atlantic region in pork. Last couple times I've cooked pork, they've been almost last. So this contest, I pulled it back together.
Awesome. And you finished, what, top 5 again?
5. I got 5 in pork this competition.
All right.
And I cooked 2 pork butts. I trim out the money muscle on one, cook it to a temp that I know it's going to slice. Usually I can't use the rest of that butt, but I use the money muscle. The other one I cook to a point that it's going to pull, and I get chunks and pulled out of it. So I give 3 different, selections. I give them the sliced. I give them a cubed kind of pork where it looks like chunks, and then I give them the pulled pork.
All right. So
no injection, only dry rubbed and cooked. That's it.
Whoa. What are you cooking? What kind of pork are you cooking?
What kind? Just IBP. Yeah. I mean, just your regular pork butt.
You're cooking old green label IBP right out of Sam's Club.
Yeah.
No injection, just rub.
No. When I tried injecting a few times, I had a horrible time. I get a better job just cooking it to the temperature that I want it to finish at, and no injection.
No shit.
And I don't know why, and a lot of people have asked me, especially when I was doing well and getting the high marks on them. It doesn't work for me. I think there's enough fat in the pork already.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that.
For sure. Wow, that is that right there, guys. I would tell you, if there was one meat that I wouldn't inject, that'd probably be the one, just because, like you said, it's got a lot of forgiveness in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I swear by it now. I mean, I'm not going to ever put a needle to the pork again. Brisket's another story, but pork is a very basic. Matter of fact, I trim it right before I put it on the cooker. I mean, it's not something I even trim ahead of time because my trimming is very slight on those things.
So are you cooking all what I would call to the people listening basic meats? Things you can get at Sam's Club or your local
Yeah, I go to
supermarket?
Restaurant Depot, but it's just a double pack of, usually IBP or Excel has their double packs of bone-in pork butt. Nothing special. I used Excel ribs this time. I bought a case of the low ribs, and that's what I'm going to be using at this comp coming up here, too, this weekend.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I think Excel ribs suck.
What's that?
I don't like Excel ribs.
Well, I never did either. It's just recently on some cooks that I've done with them, I found them way fattier than even some of the IBP, some of the bigger ones. I'm not sure why. And they're really coming out nice for me. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm going to run with them again, man.
Hey, you ride the lady that got you there, don't you, kid?
I'm going with it.
So brisket, are you buying? You're not buying a Restaurant Depot brisket, are you?
Oh yeah, choice.
Yep. A choice. Hold on.
I use choice brisket.
You're not even paying the extra 30 cents for the damn CAB at Restaurant Depot, huh?
No, I get choice. They usually have at least where I'm at. It's usually a bigger cut of meat too, where it's really thick. I'll trim just the fat off the top of the flat. I'll cut out the point, so I have something to make the burn ends with. Like most people do. I'll square up my flat to fit in the box. I mean, I do all that. I do a good amount of trimming on it, but I leave all that fat on the bottom. And I cook it fat side down till it gets to about 175, 180, and then I foil it fat side up and finish it off. That's it. I mean, I use choice.
Wait. Tell me that one more time, because that's way different. I just want to make sure I heard it right.
I'll let you see the wrapper this weekend. I use choice. I got it sitting in the fridge right now.
No, but tell me the fat up, fat down. That was the thing that struck me.
Oh, I cook it in the cooker, fat side down, until the nice part and a nice piece in the flat there shows me about 175, maybe 180, and then I'll put some foil in a pan, but I'll put the little bit of beef broth in there and put it fat side up in the broth, back in the cooker until I get about 208 or so, and then I'll bring it out, vent it, and rest it.
So are you cooking on that? Are you cooking straight to temperature or to feel?
Most at the end I am. At the end I'm looking at temperature, and then I'll open it up and see how tender it is. Sometimes I put it back on, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll wrap because of the color instead of waiting for it to go, But if the color is good, I'm not going over 180. Yeah.
No, especially on a stick burner, that color is much more key than on something insulated or a pellet. I agree.
I'm adding wood again, Like at a certain point, my ribs are going to go on. I don't know if I want to put all that, that much more smoke onto my brisket. So sometimes that's when I'm kind of wrapping it just to keep it away from the smoke while I'm getting the ribs done.
I'm going to tell you, the one thing I'm most happy about, I mean, we're going to try something, and, I've done here at the house, but I haven't done it in a contest, but I've done it 3 times at the house, so I can do it in a contest, is going from a stick burner to a WSM, a GMG on butts and brisket. Once I see the color where I want it to be, you know what? They're going to get wrapped, and they're going to go over there to a low heat to come up. And
it's actually the way to do it. I know other people that do that. What you're getting out of that is consistency. I mean, you're going to get the smoke you want, the color you want, and then what do you want to do? You're just finishing it up. Yeah. Put it in the oven. Put it in the one that you know you can keep temperature perfect, and you can finish it perfect. And then I think it's the way to do it. It's that's a good method. And then what I'm looking most forward to is cooking my ribs on that Meadow Creek. I love it.
I cook ribs, on our SBS, and I love them.
Yeah.
They're good. They've won us some money. But, man, I've cooked ribs here full up on the lane at the house, and they just got another layer of flavor.
Did you like it with the Lang? Then you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I do. I think that heavier flow of smoke, more air going by, those ribs, it's the perfect atmosphere.
And you're just not going to duplicate that in a gravity-fed cooker.
No, or the big green egg. It's one of the reasons that I don't use my egg for ribs anymore.
No, but on ribs, I'm really looking forward to taking Chris's TS250.
Yeah.
And just cooking ribs on that thing the whole time.
Hey man, he got he'll correct me, I think, if I'm wrong, but I believe he got third place in ribs up in Green Lane.
Yeah.
He put some great ribs out on that thing, man. He's been doing it for a while now. So yeah, man, it's a good cooker you're going to be using, and it's seasoned well.
So he's going to be able to tell me the rib hot spots and cold spots, eh?
Oh, he's going to step in and tell you everything. Wait till you see. I've cooked with this guy. Get ready, man. Sorry, Chris.
Tom, we have went over by about 20 minutes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Hey, and you know what? I've been texting back and forth with Craig Sherry.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He said, hey, man, it's this guy's first time in the pit. Let him talk.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, but we got to get him on, man.
We'll get him on here in a second. But, brother, it has been a good time. And, dude, I'm so happy for you. So I want to break down a couple of things, and then we'll go.
That sounds good.
You hear the ninth place chicken.
I'm sorry, say again?
You hear the ninth place chicken call this weekend. You hear the fifth place ribs.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, I mean, you're in a good group of cooks. 3 Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Serial Griller. I mean, there's some names there, right?
Absolutely.
You hear the fifth place pork.
Yeah.
How did you feel about your brisket when you turned it in?
To be honest, I thought the brisket was the best thing that we turned in, which
was
so really interesting, and my mind was already spinning, man. I couldn't catch my breath. I got people pat me on the back going, dude, 3 calls.
Hold on. When you got those 3 calls, you got in the biz what we call the brisket boner.
Yeah.
You're thinking brisket's the best one I got.
Absolutely. I glanced over my shoulder. Marie was sitting at a table. I was standing. I can't sit during the awards. And we just caught eyes, and I was like, my God, our brisket, it was the best thing we did. Can this really happen? You know what I mean? And I was very surprised getting the other calls. I thought all of my meats were a little overcooked, ribs being one of them, pork being the other, but they worked. Brisket, I thought, was right on. I had my burn ends in there. They were nice. Slices were nice.
Time out for a second. Word to anybody listening that is not an experienced barbecue cook, and I want to get Tom's approval on this. If you're going to do something with ribs, overcook them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's better to go further than before. You know, you want to overcook it.
You never know if you're going to be the first box on the table or the 6th box on the table.
Yeah.
If you lean on a side of overcooked.
Absolutely.
Yes, okay.
No, you're absolutely right. I always feel better if they're undercooked. You're done.
Yeah, you're shithoused. Yeah. Go ahead.
But I'll tell you, brisket was our best, and you know how scary that was as they're going top 10. They called top 10. You got up to 5, you got up to 4, and I was really thinking, now, hell, was it really this good though? I figured we were out of it. But third place.
The third place. So are you the only? I can't even explain.
I can't explain the feeling. First of all, we walk up for it. People are. What's that?
Are you the only 4-call guy?
You know, I have to go back and look. I could not remember anything. I got Big Dan from 3 Eyes yelling over, and Chris, you got it, man. Stay up there. I was totally. My mind was blank. I don't know who got calls. I didn't remember my other calls.
Yeah.
I was really in that state of mind at that point.
No, I can tell you. I was talking about the Winter Haven contest, and you tell me if it's similar. Well, it was just such a big contest for us, and we had a really bad 2012. We didn't win a grand. We didn't win a reserve. I was very much in my head about, you know, I was always changing shit every week, and it was just, it was bad juju. We didn't cook as many cups as we cooked, blah, blah, blah. But, man, when we got to Winter Haven and we got those 3 calls to the stage, and there were 3 good calls. You know, and it's like, you know, and you go back after brisket, and you're like, well, who else has 3? Well, you know, and you start strategizing, you start talking about it. To me, that's what we did. It was like, well, who's got 3? Okay. And he's like, we're gonna call the top 5 overall. And they start rattling through, and they get to your reserve grand champion is, and it's not your name.
You know, yeah.
No, because there was another team that had 3 calls.
Oh, gotcha.
That was still out there. And you're like, man, and I looked at Jared, and Jared looked at me and goes, our ribs are pretty damn good. and that was the only one. They called 12 at that contest, and we finished 13th in ribs.
Oh, baby. See?
Yeah. And so, you know, but I understand that you know, it's a very surreal feeling because you walk off the stage and you're like, man, we may have won this thing. Now, there's been contests before, and you'll have one of these, Tom, where you sit there and you go first, third, second, fourth. Yeah, we're probably gonna, you know, 35 team field. We're probably gonna come back up again. But when you get in those tight races, it's like, oh my gosh, you walk off that brisket stage and you feel worse than when you walked on it. You're like, oh my God. Okay. And you're like, and everybody's saying, oh, it's yours.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like,
everyone.
You're like, don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on me.
Well, I was standing there and I kept telling the guy next to me and Paul from Shady Cross, I just want to hear the name. I said, don't tell me it's us. Because I knew that, chicken chokers.
Yeah.
They got quite a few calls, but I couldn't remember how many. When they were called at reserved, we kind of knew it because, you know, we have to be in the top 10 somewhere. Yeah. So after the reserve was called, I kind of blacked out a little bit. Yeah, that's when it happened.
Well, first, I just want to say congratulations again.
No, I appreciate it.
Dude, we're so happy for you, man. That is so killer. So
I'm thrilled.
I told you we were into the sponsor thing. Can I pull you back another night for that?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to.
Awesome. Because I want to talk about, I want you to hit up Buffalo Trace on the way out, but I want to talk about how you went out and got Buffalo Trace and Royal Locust sponsors, so that the listeners can learn from that. So
let's talk about that. Set something up because I am very opinionated when it comes to sponsorship and how it should work anyway, and I'd love to express that.
Hey, we won't make it long. Let's make that 2 or 3 weeks out, brother.
Love it. Look forward to seeing you this weekend, man. It's going to be a blast.
I cannot wait to cook with you or against you. I can't wait to beat your ass.
We're going to see what happens. Hey, man, I just want to...
Hey, no. We'll have some dollar bets on some certain categories.
I'm good with that.
And we'll drink a lot of damn Natural Light and Buffalo Trace.
Dude, that is a plan. I look forward to it. Thanks for having me on, man.
Tom, anything else you want to hit on the way out? I always give my guys a chance to hit it on the way out.
Hey, no, I think I covered everything, man. I'm good. I'm going to go trim some meat now. You got me all psyched up.
All right, brother. Hey, can't wait to see you on Friday, man.
Absolutely.
Later.
Hey, cheers.
All right, guys. Tom Bera. Dude. Philly Blind Pig BBQ. What a friggin' great guy to have on the show first time. I'm all jacked up. I had a good time. And Tom's just a great spirit, a great guy. If you'd have saw all the guys in chat that said, man, this guy's salt of the earth, you know, great guy, loving everything. I mean, that's just a man, you know what I mean? Awesome to have Tom on the show tonight. And Tom, once again, congratulations. 45 contests, his first GC, and it is well damn deserved. Real quick, before we go over to Craig Sharon, if you're wanting to get your first GC, I'd recommend you go over to thebarbecuesuperstore.com because my friends Rich and Mark are going to, now you can get some Meat Mitch over there if you want to. You can. Are going to take care of you. They have all the latest and greatest. They've got the butula, which is the spatula that will handle a pork butt. They've got Bubba Q stuff. They got Harry Sue stuff. They've got Craig Sherry stuff. They've got Cosmo stuff. They've got all the people that we love. They've got their stuff. The Barbecue BBQ Superstore.com. Go over there, check it out, and I can't wait any longer. I got to get over to Craig Sherry. Craig, what's up, Bubba?
Hey, how you doing, Chad?
Craig, the pleasure is all mine, my friend.
Thanks for having me on this evening. I do appreciate it very, very much.
Yes, sir, and I'm sorry about us being so late, but man, me and Tom are having a good time.
Hey, it's what it's all about. If we can't have fun at this, we need to quit.
Well, and you know, as being a loyal sponsor of the show and the team, you get airtime anytime you need it. And it's just, and that's the thing I love about this show is getting those first-time guys on and just getting to know them. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I sitting here taking notes while I was listening to him talk. None of us ever get too big that we can't learn something from somebody else. That's for sure.
Oh no, sir.
And I like
no,
the way
sir.
you suck the little tidbits of information out of people.
Yeah, well, you try. I mean, hey, when I catch a snippet, I'm gonna share it.
Your interview skills are phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Craig. I appreciate it, my friend. Well, the biggest interview tip I got about talking to you is you made a real big decision a week or two ago.
Yes, sir.
And, man, I couldn't be happier for it, Craig. You know,
well, thank you.
You have built this brand to a place where you believe if you could put full-time work into it, you're going to take it further. And that is awesome. And guys, so you don't understand, Craig Sherry don't jump around from job to job. Craig, you had, 23 years in with where you're at?
Actually, believe it or not, I was 1 week away from having 25 years. 25 years.
And you have seen enough life and love of the people about Texas pepper jelly and rib candy that you just said, hey, it's time to make this thing full time. I mean, Craig, that's a big decision because does your wife work?
Yes, she does. Thank
Okay.
goodness.
So you've got her insurance and this and that, but still, man, that's when you've been somewhere 25 years, it ain't like you're quitting a burger flipping job, bud. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, you're leaving some money behind, but to me, it just sells how much more of a damn good brand this is, you know?
Well, I appreciate all the kind words. This decision did not come lightly. I've got to, if I could take just a second, there's just so many people that I could thank. And if I start naming names, I know I won't catch
You'll
everybody.
get in trouble, yeah.
But, family, of course, friends, barbecue friends. You know one of them. I don't know if you know both of them. I've got to give you two names. Glenn Jarrett, which she thinks
yeah.
God
dang it, I love that guy.
I tell you, he always listened. He never said anything negative. He was just always supportive.
Can I say something? I don't mean to cut you
sure.
off, Greg. Can I say something about Greg?
Absolutely.
He is one of those guys. Don't try to read what Glenn says by his body language. He's one of those guys that speaks in volumes. He's not a guy like me. I will get up in front of a crowd and I'll speak a lot of words. And somebody in that crowd may take 2 sentences I said and go, man, that's my mission. Or that's what I'm going to do. When Glenn Jarrett talks, you listen.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, that's the guy that when I came back from the Invitational, 2010, 123rd out of 126, he had tasted my sauce, he had tasted my food, I was 3/4 away on a crown bender because of those results. And he came over to me and said, not to anybody else on my team. I was sitting in a chair. He walked over to me, put his hand on my shoulder and said, do you want to hear what you got to change to be successful tomorrow? And I said, yes, sir. I said, you've been a kind man. He goes, buddy, I've cooked this for 10 years. If you want to listen, I'll tell you. And in 3 sentences, he laid out boom, boom, boom. Here's what you got to change. And guess what? We went, and I told the guys, I pulled the guys together. I said, guys, here's what he just said. This is what we're doing tomorrow. And one day, we went from 123 out of 126 to 33 out of 485.
Makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
But here's the thing, man. When Glenn looks at you as a friend or as a compadre, he takes care of you, and that's the cool thing about that guy. Is you know, he's not out there like me and you are, but when you get to know the guy, man, he's salt of the earth, brother.
Absolutely, and I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate. I have so many friends in so many different walks of life, but to actually have a friend that's also carrying and shares the same passion in barbecue, all I can say is I'm blessed. But it doesn't just stop at him. Lane Chapman,
Dude,
Wild Willis Cookers.
I want to talk about this guy because I've seen you mention this guy before, and you've got to hook me and him up. We got to get him on the show.
We can do that. We can do that.
I've never met Lane, but man, I see so many people in that region of you guys talking about him like he's just an awesome dude.
He is. He is. I tell you what, he's probably, you know, we all have bad days. I don't think I've ever caught Lane on a bad day. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always got a hand out to shake someone's hand. He'll do anything in the world for you. Lane's been cooking off and on for a long time. I won't even hazard to guess how long. Lane came into my little world probably about 3-4 years ago, and he was pretty straight up forward. He says, "Hey, can you give me some pointers? Can you give me some tips?" And he come spent the day with me, and I remember he came out with his notepad and pencil and paper, and he was all excited, and he was writing stuff down, and we went to trim brisket, and I said, okay, well, here's what I do, boom, 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 and I was finished, and he goes, dude, it only took 10 minutes, and I said, well, I don't overthink it, you know, this is what I do, and he goes, no, you don't understand, you've been winning, you've got to do more than that, and I can just remember laughing at him, and I can remember him shaking his head going, it just can't be that simple. Maybe I'm missing something here. And that evening at awards, I was fortunate enough to win a GC, and he looked over at me and gave me a thumbs up, and from that day on, anything I've ever said, he's just absorbed it like a sponge. And he's taken what little bit of knowledge I've given him and he's got from other people, and he's turned into a heck of a cook.
Yeah, he's a recognized force out there, and you guys
absolutely. He doesn't get to cook as often as some of the rest of us due to family obligations, which everybody can understand. But when he gets out there, you better watch out because he'll sneak up on you.
He's gonna do it. Yeah, he's gonna be all over it. No, that is.
I mean, he's the reason I was able to walk up on the stage at the Royal last year. You know what the Royal's like. We all do. We've been there. And I cooked. He was my helper. We went up together, and I don't remember where we placed. It wasn't something to be proud of. It was on invitational.
No, Craig Sherry. When you walk at the Royal, it's something to be proud of.
Well, at the end, where I was going to say is at the invitational, we were like 135 out of 165 or something.
Whoa!
I mean, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but you know, he kept it. He kept my head focused. He kept saying it would be all right.
Another day.
So Exactly. We turned it around the next day, and you know, you sometimes you have a feeling, and then I'm sitting here thinking, I've got 13 hours to drive home, 530 something teams. What are the odds? Let's go to the house. And Lane's like, no, let's stay for awards. Let's stay for awards. And when I got the first rib call, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And then we got a 12th brisket, and boy, Lang's over there. He's probably more excited than I am. And then to finish 5th overall in that crowd.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, life was good. It's what we do. I enjoyed it. I hope to get to do it again sometime soon, and I'm just thankful. But before we get on to contests and stuff, besides those two,
I want to talk a little bit more about this decision.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah, that's where I want to go too, is because we always got time to talk about contests, but this is
right, exactly.
kind of the new
friends.
This is the new and relevant thing.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just excited. Go ahead.
I mean, you tell me about the thought process, not inside your head, but inside the Sherry household, because I mean, your wife has to be like my wife. I mean, my wife, she just always inspires me to go, hey, if you don't think you can do this, yes, you can. And she just, she's always that driving force. And I feel like you've got a wife that's the same way, brother.
Yeah, sometimes we all forget to stop and realize just how thankful we really should be.
Yes, sir.
Besides the friends that were listening to me and pushing me, I mean, I've had friends pushing me from day one, do this full time, but they don't see your bills and what you got going on. The wife, on the other hand, I say I was a week away from 25 years, and that's impressive. I got to tell you, 20 of those were miserable.
Yeah.
The last 5 or 6 have just been totally miserable. I've been one of these persons. I never knew what I wanted to do. To some extent, I'm not sure I do, but we work out of necessity. We work because we want things.
It's a means to an end, brother.
You betcha. And it was going through the motions. And I started Texas Pepper Jelly on a whim, something to play around with, and I got interested in cooking, and I thought, hey, if this will bring me in a little income, since I don't have any sponsors, and I really don't know sometimes if I ever want one, because I'm so headstrong and wanting to do things my way. I thought this would be great. Maybe it'll pay for a few barbecue contests, and we'll see what happens. Well, the business grew, and one of the things that I've been blessed with is my customers, especially my repeat customers. It's hard to get a first time, but you've really got to have something going your way to get them to come back time and time again. And I've got a list of customers that have been with me for, we're going into our 7th year, and they've been with me from day one. And I got to tell you, it just tickles me to see them still ordering after all these years. My wife,
Craig, on that point, let me ask you this. When you're probably like I am. I'm not a big Facebook guy, but on Saturday evening, I'm on Facebook a lot because I want to see what came in from all the contests.
Right.
So the guys are ordering from you. Their team names. Their personal names. Blah blah. Is that a joy for you when you watch that come in?
Absolutely. But it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I'm ecstatic. And there are some guys out there that have no problem, saying, hey, this company I use, they don't have to say what they use, but I use this company and that company, That's good, and I appreciate it. It's the other side of that sword, though, are the guys that And well, I can understand keeping a secret. I understand when you're doing something you don't want to share. And I want to say something so bad, especially when one of them hits a top 5 or a reserve or a grand. There's so many guys in this business that I see all the time go, oh, this guy uses my stuff, this guy uses my stuff. So I don't want to get caught up and be one of those guys because you don't really have anything. Just to say I had 5 guys hit second place this weekend. Okay, well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Right. But, if Chad hit a GC next weekend, Chad's going to use Texas pepper jelly. And that's cool. And I can say, hey, Chad uses my product. It's not some guy placed with it. No. I've never ever tried to tell people that my stuff is magic. You can buy my product, and that does not mean you're going to go out and hit your first time out. No,
because if you cook it like shit, it's going to taste like shit.
Exactly. There's so many other factors.
If you use my product to accent your and that maybe that's to me. Here's the thing, Craig, is and you've listened to my radio show since it started. Is I've always been a fan of your product, and I've always been a fan of Darian's product. And I'll tell people on this show that I use your rib candy on this, and this. Every category except brisket. And actually, I used it in brisket 2 contests ago, and we walked in the top 5. Just because I tasted our finishing sauce for brisket, and I said, it's just missing something. And I said, I'm gonna take and put 2 teaspoons of habanero rib candy in this au jus with this mixture. And I was like, it waked it all up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It took the beef flavor. It punched it up. It took your flavor. Punched it up. It took the sauce flavor. Punched it up. And I don't have a problem sharing that with people because they've got to know how to apply it. So if I say, hey, I use pineapple habanero on my brisket, guess what? Some guys will go, well, when he foils it, is he covering it in pineapple habanero? On butts, is he covering it with pineapple habanero when he foils? I have no problem saying I use it. I have used it in the last year on all 4 of my competition categories. And it's for them to figure out.
Right, exactly.
But it works and it scores and it puts checks in your pocket.
Sure. But you can understand the other guys that are out there. I hate to use the word paranoia, but you know what I'm saying.
But I can understand that, Craig. But I cannot. Here's what I cannot tolerate is why didn't a guy, if he wants first place ribs and he's used your product, can he not say thanks to Texas Pepper Jelly? They were a part of my first place ribs this weekend. Hey, there may have been, and I've done this before, and it actually is pretty good. You know how people talk about a slather?
Yes.
Have you taken and you haven't probably, because I heard the way you just said that. Have you ever taken your pineapple habanero rib candy and used it as a slather?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
And here's what I'm going to tell you, and I hope I'm not giving away a secret, because me and you have not talked about this before. True or false?
True.
Okay. I've taken your pineapple habanero rib candy, laid it down on a slab of ribs, then taking a very sweet rub of Cosmos Killer Bee, not Killer Bee Chipotle, Killer Bee, which is very sweet, laid it down over the top, and 1 ribs.
Sure. There's another thing that
So what I'm saying is, most people would think when they hear I used rib candy on my stuff, oh well, he's putting in when he's foiling or blah blah blah. No, it's get creative, guys. But that was a very very awesome rib.
Right.
Go ahead, Craig.
No, without trying to get too sidetracked here, I'm because I think what you originally said was when you come home on Saturday night or Sunday night, you're on Facebook. I'm thankful for all of my customers, whether they ever say a word or not. That's one thing I wanted to get home. I didn't want anybody to think that I was complaining about something. I wish sometimes I could advertise more and say a little bit more, but you can't, and you respect it and you move on. Bottom line is, without the customers, I would be nowhere.
No. I completely appreciate that. I can understand that, and that is cool. That's what makes this clock go round. I have a problem with guys who just can't say, "Hey, I used it." I finished third in port this week, and I used Craig Sherry's product. It's not giving away anything. Craig, I've taken your product and put it in my injection on port. Not in full parts. I haven't poured a whole bottle in there and injected it. But
right.
I've cut it into my injection, and when I go to wrap on pork with your glaze over the top with some other things, they all complement each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just to say,
absolutely.
And I've given more details than anybody has to give, but just to say, I used Texas pepper jelly on pork this weekend, took a third place. You know that he bought it, so you can call him on bullshit. And
right.
But at the same time, it gives you brand recognition.
Absolutely.
And that's probably the marketer in me coming out.
It is, and marketing is the key to this whole thing.
All right, Craig. So while we're on the air, I'm gonna ask
because we have, we're talking, we're almost talking two different things. We're talking. You and I are getting into barbecue, which we tend to do very easily.
Yes,
it takes fun.
Easily.
But before I ask your favor, before I go back to my wife for a second.
Yes. No. Finish up with your wife.
No, we got so siditracked, and I'm trying to, believe it or not, here I am trying to keep us on point. Usually it's you trying to keep me on point. Can you believe that? I'm actually trying to do something right here. No, my wife, bless her heart, she's been after me to quit this job for the last couple of years, and when I finally decided to pull the trigger and do it, everybody's been wonderful. Everybody has said encouraging words. Everybody thinks it's just great, and you're all right. But I got to tell you, there's also the other side of it, and I'm scared to death. It's really cool to see orders come in, and as long as they come in, everything's good. But you got to ask yourself, in the real world, can you make a living off of this?
Yeah.
And one thing I knew for sure, I had taken it as far as I could, working nights and weekends.
Yeah. You're wearing yourself out.
Exactly. And so, I really didn't have a choice. For us to go to the next level, it had to be done. So, hey, here we are. We're going to try it. We'll see what happens. If y'all see me put a deal on Facebook that says I need a job, well, you'll know it didn't go so well. But
I got you one, Bubba. I got you one. We'll handle it. I promise.
Oh, do you now? Okay.
Well, we can make that happen.
I'll remember that. But before I go back to work, I am going to promise you this. Somehow, some way, in the next 6 to 9 months, I'm coming to Florida.
Dude.
I don't know if I'm going to cook or just hang out somewhere and be a nuisance. But my goal this next year is to get around to some different teams that I've got to know and visit with, and try to cover some regions I haven't been in, and hopefully
Craig,
you'll see me there.
Craig, you got to realize, anytime you want to come in the big dogs state, you got it. We'll be there. We'll cook a contest together. Well, whatever you need, Bubba, we got it for you. We would love to have you down there. And I would just love to have all the guys that I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong. Since we started working together, have you seen a lot more Florida customers?
Well, yeah, and let me tell you about Florida real quick. It's of all states, my goodness, I wouldn't have figured Florida for this. But I actually have 3 retail businesses in Florida that are carrying my products. And I would like to just plug them all real quick so y'all know who they are, and you can support them if they're in your area. And I'm not familiar with the state, so I don't know if these guys are next door to each other or what. But a new place is opening up, Pitmasters Depot.
That's my buddy Jay. I remember
your buddy Jay in Tampa.
Yep.
We have a store called Just Grilling.
Just Grilling. Doug and Heather Driscoll. Yep. I do cooking classes there every month.
Heather's great to talk to in Tampa. And a place called Grills and More in Lakeland.
Yep.
So
I turn them your way.
I tell you what, man, they're reordering, and nothing's, it's great to sell them the first time, but when they reorder, that's when you gotta love it.
That's the deal. And I'll tell you what, I feature them in all my cooking classes. We did a burger the other day. I said it was going to be our spicy burger at the class. We did a stuffed burgers class, and we took a chorizo and pepper jack stuffed burger, and as I was finishing, I glazed it in pineapple habanero. Oh, demi glaze, not a hard glaze, just enough to coat the meat, make it shiny, make it proper. My God, it was good. It was good.
You like that pineapple, don't you?
Man, I love that pineapple habanero. Hey, when I put my order in, I asked for, 2 racks of pineapple habanero and a apple and cinnamon, no peppers. You know me, Craig.
Tell the truth. Are you using that apple cinnamon on vanilla ice cream?
No, I'm using an apple cinnamon on chicken.
Oh man, screw the chicken and barbecue, dude. Go get you a half gallon of vanilla ice cream and put you some apple cinnamon rib candy over the top of it and kick back, and life is good.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man. So you're feeling like, are you feeling like there's some other channels that you're gonna take this brand to on another level? Obviously, quitting your job.
Well, yeah, I've got some things going on. Nothing that I really want to talk about out loud, but
no, you don't have to.
Our product has always been good on other things besides barbecue, and dessert toppings is something that really fascinates me. For the listeners out there, take any of our products and try it on a piece of pie, or drizzle some on top of a cake or some ice cream. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing what it does to dessert.
Dude, once again, I love the pineapple habanero on top of a freshly cooked pound cake. Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I can just imagine.
Well,
you think it's good there? Go get you some egg rolls and dip in there.
Well, hey, Craig, before the show closes out, and we can go later, and people will go pick it up on iTunes, I just want to give you, inside of 90 seconds, is there anybody you want to thank before we go on with this discussion?
No, I mean, I covered the ones I wanted to. My wife, without her support, we'd be nowhere. And without our customers, we would be nowhere. And I'm thankful for both.
Well, and I just want to hit on the last 60 seconds. Craig Sherry kicks ass in competitions. And he cooks on a baby Jambo and a pit maker, right?
Correct.
All right. So there you go, guys.
Real quick. We got 40 seconds or so.
No, Craig.
Before the show ends, I want to say something. In case we lose somebody right now. Go to our website for the next 3 days. Use the code word whiskey and save 20%.
Save 20%. Code word whiskey. God, that's a hell of a time right there.
On jelly or rib candy. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Craig. That's huge, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Anything for whiskey.
Well, hey, man, can we go after hours for a second?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm on your time.
No. All right. So we're off the air, and people will come back, and we usually get about 2,500 to 5,000 downloads of the after hours segment. So that's good. Once again, 20% whiskey, code whiskey. Craig, you're too good there, folks. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be hitting you up again. I'm doing a cooking class down here Father's Day weekend in South Florida. Big money place. And I'm going to be asking you for some product to use for the class and a discount code. So
okay,
I'm here to tell you Father's Day weekend, but we've got 120 confirmed already.
Okay, just hit me up. Remind me when it gets closer, and we'll do something.
I will. I know, man. You've got to be the happiest bird in the Sherry house. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to be happy that you're focusing on your passion, but there's a little bit of pressure there too, right?
There is. I gotta be just very candid with you. I'm scared to death, Chad.
Yeah.
I worked off of a schedule for the time clock off the last 30 years. So yeah. On one hand, I've got this immense amount of time. Yet on the other hand, I've got so many irons in the fire. I'm almost not sure where to start, where to go next. It's like a new world. I'm driving my wife crazy. I'm driving me crazy. I'm sure it's going to get better, and it'll probably get better very soon. But the transition stage it's scary as hell.
Yeah. Sure it is, because it's that unknown territory. It's that, you put your toe in, but now you put your whole body in,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like we were taught to swim. They threw us off the deep end, and that's where I feel like I'm at right at the moment.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, buddy. If I know I believe in you, and you believe in me. If you need anything down here in the Southeast, call it on. Not just Florida. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, anything like that, just let me know.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very generous. Thank you.
Because I will take your product and I will go up there and I will, and I think I will do it right. I want to see you be as successful as possible. Because Craig, that is a big chance to take.
It is. It's you've heard the term leap of faith.
You leap of faith, brother?
We've leaped. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We've got some things going on. I've hinted around about it for 6 months, and I never realized how slow the wheels turn.
Yeah.
But our barbecue sauce should be in my hands in the next So 4 weeks or so.
Well, I got that one taster of it, and I friggin' loved it.
What do you think?
I loved it. It was. I'll tell you what. And for people that are listening after hours, they're gonna get this. I took my Blues Hog, which everybody loves, thinking it's the best competition cooking sauce in the world, right?
Right.
I replaced it with Meat Mitch, which was good. But
Okay.
then I took, you only gave me, I think, 16 ounces. I took my Blues Hog recipe with, I had a little bit of sweet in it. With your sauce, it's phenomenal.
Well, good. How long ago did I send you that sample? I can't remember.
Oh, God, Craig, it's got to be 6 to 8 months.
Well, we refined it some since then. So as soon as I get more,
you owe me one.
Huh?
You owe me one. You're saying?
Oh, I owe you more than one, but yeah, as soon as I get it in my hands, I'll send it to you.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
I hope you like it. I mean, the changes we made were nothing severe at all, just some subtleties. You know how it is when you go into mass production, you have to change some things around.
You gotta worry you gotta worry about exactly. You gotta worry about shelf life. Yeah.
You know, is it gonna be everybody's cup of tea? Probably not. But you know what? There's gonna be some guys out there that love it, and I'm making it for the guy who wants to buy it and use it, be it a competition cooker or a backyard cooker or somebody that just wants to use it at home.
You know what? You know what I get out of these guys mostly at all my cooking classes, especially if you give any love to the guys down here in Florida that buy your products, give it to Just Grillin'. I'm there every month.
Okay.
And they say, you know what, Chad? And I hear my students say this, and we sell out every class. And I do it as a favor to Doug and Heather. They're great people. You probably talked to Trevor. He's a good guy.
Actually, yeah, and I've talked to Heather once before, too.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Heather's a sweetheart.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I guarantee you Heather said, Chad told you we had to call you.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm wondering are you holding people at gunpoint down there?
No, buddy. They just eat my food and go, what makes it taste as good? And I say, this guy.
Well, I appreciate it.
No, and dude, hey, kudos to you for having a good time. But
hey,
I just think people need to understand, like those stuffed burgers I did the other day. I glazed one of them with it, right? With the pineapple habanero.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I took and put the apple cinnamon. It was the one that I was wanting to be more savory.
Mm-hmm.
I actually put it in my base of my hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
So I had egg, I had breadcrumbs, I had ground beef, all that. I just put a bit of apple cinnamon, no peppers, in there. Mixed it all up. And you know what I finished it with? A slice of apple and a slice of jack cheddar or jack cheese. And it was phenomenal.
You know, I'm not even a big burger fan, and that sounds good.
So
can you believe? Don't tell nobody I said that. I mean, people laugh at me all the time. A burger, man. If the burger industry had to rely on me to eat a hamburger, they'd go broke. I know other people love them. My wife would eat a hamburger 7 days a week if she could. But that burger you just described, that sounds mighty tasty.
Well,
speaking of tasty, I'm gonna put you down as a test dummy. I've talked talked about it for 2 years, and I finally got time on my hands to do it. I'm just going to hopefully have the finishing touches on a batch of margarita-flavored rib candy.
What?
Margarita-flavored rib candy.
Oh, Lord.
And when I do, I'm going to send you some, send you 2 or 3 bottles. I want you to play with it and give me some feedback.
No, I'd love to. Because you know me, man. I'm always in the meat kitchen. Always in the meat kitchen, son. And I know you are.
This would go good. I'm thinking it would go good with chicken, but I'm also thinking it'd be really killer on some seafood.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's where, you know, Craig, when you giving up your day job, that's where we got to look. Is we've got to look at the places that are outside of the competition's realm. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The guy that's going to come in there every 2 weeks and go, I cannot cook my shrimp without this margarita rib candy. I can't. You know? And that's what we got to drive.
You're exactly right.
And you know what? That's why I love teaching classes. Is these guys don't want to hear about how to build a perfect turning box. They want to hear about how do I cook the barbecue that kicks everybody else's ass on the block.
Right.
And I'm good with that. That's what I like doing. I like teaching people that.
People are on me all the time about teaching, and I've never done it. I may have to just call you some evening and pick your brain on how to go about it.
You know the best thing you can do is when you're down here in Florida, just come watch me in a class.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about it after that, and you'll see, Craig. There's a couple of things the good Lord's blessed us all with. Yours is to make a damn fine pepper jelly and rib candy. Mine is to teach folks. And I'm fine with that. You're fine with that. And we both cook good barbecue. But yeah, I'd love to have you come down here and watch a class and just see the interaction we have. Because even if we're in a burger class, if somebody asks me a question about pork butt or salmon or whatever, I'm going to give them the answer. You know, here's how you make it taste better.
Right.
I'm through it. But hey, you're a quick study. And you're a lovable guy just like me. You'll be fine.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you what days of the week do you typically teach a class?
Saturday.
Okay, so the chances of getting down there and killing 2 birds with 1 stone, a class and a competition, how tough would that be?
Kind of shitty. Because I usually cook classes I usually teach classes on my off weekends.
Okay.
But we could probably do a Friday night class or Friday class and then leave there and go to a contest. Yeah, we could do that.
You think that's possible?
That's possible.
Let's put that one on the possible to do list.
All right.
Yeah. Something for you to think on, let it simmer for a little bit, and then if you come up with a good idea, get with me, and maybe we can do something.
Yeah, no, that would be good, because we could leave out of there. I could have my buddy Jared that cooks with me. He could already have everything injected, rubbed, blah blah blah, and we could show up there about an hour or 2 before we go on. So yeah, we can make that happen.
Okay, let's just put that on the burner and think about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
I would definitely like to try to do that, and if we can do it and we could advertise it, people know I'm coming. I would say it would help you fill up your class, but you said you fill them up anyway, so I guess my name won't help.
No. If they knew Craig Sherry from Texas Pepper Jelly was coming out there, we'd probably add another 10 seats. Overflow parking, my friend.
Might be standing room only.
It would be standing room only. But to hear from two good pitmasters, one from Texas, one from Florida, shit, they'd love to hear that.
Well, that's something we definitely got to work on.
All right. I'd love it, man. I would love it. I'd love it, Craig. All right, man. We're wrapping up. What do you want to hit on the way out? Tell me.
Well, nothing really, except, I guess, Chad, to tell you the truth, sometimes I'm just overwhelmed. I've said it 100 times tonight, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing it, but I'm just so fortunate to have friends and family and customers. I consider you all of the above. Just pushing the product, helping us out, keeping us planted on the ground, keeping our feet on the ground, and we'll just continue to keep offering the best customer service we can and the best products we can and see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you what, Craig. You guys, I bought a couple of gift baskets for my customers, and they still talk about it, buddy. They still talk about it. Just
Good.
those pepper jellies. I mean, they just love them.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
But I always say, hey, if you love the pepper jelly, try the rib candy on your fluid needs, I say. And because one guy told me, he's like, I used all that jelly on my bagels and toast. He's like, I loved it, man. It was awesome. I was like, well, do you cook? He's like, yeah, I cook. I said, well, go buy you a couple of bottles of rib candy. Try that out on what you're cooking. And, man, I will tell you, they love it, man. They love it. So thank you for what you're doing, my friend. I know you're questioning things. I know you're thinking about things, but, man, you've got this big barbecue fellowship behind you, bro. You're going to be successful, Craig. You're going to be successful.
That very much.
You
I'm going to hold you to that.
You just keep being the honest man you are and laying out the product you do, and you'll be fine, buddy. I promise that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Chad, very much.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
And thanks again for having me on the show this evening. I appreciate that, as always.
And Craig, anytime. Right. You are always welcome to be here.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next week, keep the pit lit.